The safeguarding boards, both for children and adults, on learning the extent of the sexual exploitation which was taking place in Newcastle, decided that they wanted a thorough examination of that to learn as much as they could about how it was occurring and what needed to be put in place to deal with it, and to receive some reassurance that what they have put in place was effective and having the intended impact.
And was there any kind of delay? Could things have been done better?
Well, the things may have been done better if the extent of the sexual exploitation had been, and the prevalence of it had been appreciated before January 2014. But despite the agencies taking steps to try and understand the extent of the sexual exploitation, it wasn't fully understood until victims began to talk about their experiences more extensively. And as soon as it was understood, swift action was taken.
So what exactly were we talking about here?
In terms of sexual exploitation, we're talking about not just sexual exploitation of children, but also sexual exploitation of adults with vulnerabilities. And that's not been identified in high-profile reviews elsewhere, and that's something that Newcastle has been able to identify and is sharing with other areas of the country and encouraging them to look for that exploitation. And sexual exploitation, it needs to be understood, is not just, although just is perhaps the wrong word, it's not just sexual acts and underage sex or inappropriate relationships. It's much, much more serious and abusive than that. It's serious maltreatment involving inhuman and degrading treatment and even torture.
So you say this affected also vulnerable adults. What would you mean by a vulnerable adult?
Well, adults who've got some vulnerability. So that might be a cognitive impairment, which affects their ability to form judgments about their own best interests.
And what would your final word be on this situation then?
Well, I think the one of the strong messages is, in relation to this review, is that the agencies in Newcastle have worked very, very hard to try and put in place arrangements which will deal as comprehensively as possible with the problem of sexual exploitation.